Mila. Mila. Who's the girl by Shane? He's like over there. Who?
All right.
Folger?
Welcome to the 2022 Track and Field Team Award Ceremony.
All right.
It's warm, we know. We'll try to keep this as brief as possible to get everybody through. Just a little summary pretty much of our team this year. I know when we talk each about our girls and boys teams, we'll go into specifics on numbers with our records and such, but we had 121, I believe, sign up in the very beginning.
Wow.
We finished the year with 88, which is more than we've had on a team in a while. And I know not all 88 are here, but the participation we got this year was superb, especially from our freshman class. We built this team with our youth throughout the years, and our freshman class did a great job coming in. So we're excited to see what they have in store for the year to come. A couple thanks we want to throw out to some individuals who may or may not be here. We have a few that we know for a fact aren't here, but we still want to mention them anyways. A big thanks to someone who was new to the field of this sport, and that is our athletic director, Mr. Brian Dewey. I know he's not in attendance, but he had to deal with a lot for us throughout this season, especially as a baseball guy and a softball guy. He knew nothing about track and field. And so every time Coach Pushkar or I or one of these gentlemen walked into his office, he probably had a little sigh that he had, like, oh, I gotta deal with this track and field stuff again. But he muscled through it, and he was always there with us. He was in our tent for a while there at the finish line, learning the ins and outs of our program. So we know that that's a healthy relationship moving forward with Brian. So a big thank you to him. Speaking of in the tent at our home meets, a big thank you to Mr. Paul Becker, who is not here. But without him, our home meets would be impossible to run. He did so much for us in that tent, like almost like the hive mind of our what's going on in our meets there, especially the invitational and all the little hiccups we have. So he figures that stuff out for us all the time, and we're happy to have him moving forward as well. Coach Walker, as well as a volunteer coach. You don't get paid. You come out and go through all those practices and all those meets and all the mileage and without the paycheck, but his paycheck is watching his pole vaulters do his best, do as good as they can, do their best. So thank you to Coach Walker and the parents. Whether you believe it or not, the athletes notice when you're there and when you're cheering, even if they are standoffish afterwards and embarrassed to admit it. I know as an athlete myself growing up and coaches as athletes themselves, having parents around is a huge thing. I remember being at a meet when I knew my mom and dad weren't there, and it was kind of freaky. So having parents there, especially helping at our meets, we had a lot of parents help sell tickets for us, help our program. So thank you, parents. Thank you very much. And finally, to our athletes. You really are our paycheck. Watching you guys get stronger and stronger throughout the year, be dedicated to this craft. We love watching you compete. So thank you for everything you put in this year. You guys did a great job. We had a great season. So thank you. Before we move on to the boys team and how this is going to all proceed, we want to hurry with one of our individuals who has to leave for graduation at the tech school. So I'm going to hand this over to Mr. Pyle, and he'll take care of that for us, and then we'll move into the boys team awards. So Mr. Pyle.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to begin by congratulating Nathan DiGiulio on his graduation this evening from the Erie County Pro Tech School. Nathan is a coach's dream. For 4 years, if you could imagine yourself as a coach, and regardless of what sport that would be, every time that you knew you were playing with someone else, you could just pencil in 2 firsts. Okay, there would be a first for the boys discus, there would be a first for the boys shot put, and that's 10 points. And that was true for every single dual meet this year with the exception of 1. He's also the 14th ranked discus thrower in the history of our school. He is a district medalist in the boys shot put, a district medalist in the boys discus as well. And to be honest with you, I don't, as far as a coaching perspective, It'll be a long time before I can do the things that I just told you about, where I can just simply sit down the night before a track meet and count on 5 points in the boys' shot put and 5 points in the boys' discus. That will probably be a long time coming. Nathan, if you'll come up, I'll share all the awards so that the audience can see exactly what you won tonight. We'll hold our applause till the very end, please. The first award is for a district qualifier for both the boys and the shot put. Congratulations, Nathan. The other award is for finishing in 3rd place in the Erie County Classic in the boys discus. Congratulations. This all the time. He has earned a bar, third bar for track. He'll also have an all-region patch that can go on his letter jacket for his accomplishments in boys track and field. A certificate, of course, and of course, the one that we're talking about right at this particular moment. He is our most valuable thrower, Nathan DeGilio. Congratulations.
Thanks, Coach Powell, and congratulations, Nathan, again. I am Coach Pushkar, boys head track coach, Coach Drab, distance, girls head coach, Coach Powell, throwing coach, and behind me, if you can see him, let me move the podium, Coach Greg, our jump coach. I'm gonna go right through, and we're gonna start with the 9th grade, and then 9th graders are gonna come up here, we're gonna line up down here, and that way, when we proceed through the order of grade, the seniors will be up front. And then those who are first team all region, second team will step forward, and then district qualifiers will take another step forward, and then our state qualifiers. So if you could just hold your applause to the very end, I'll just give you the signal and we'll all clap. And to start us off, our boys are 5-2 in the region. Our losses, again, only came to Fort LaBeouf and Harbor Creek. Very close, both of them. If we would have, I think, lined everybody up properly, we could have possibly beaten both teams. I know LaBeouf was a lot closer. Out of that team, we had 10 district qualifiers. So when I call your name, just come up. Ryan Adcock, sprinter. Mike Benang, sprinter, and he received a letter. Caden Chandler, hurdles, receives a letter. Quentin Clark, jumper. Bryson Hammond, distance, also receiving a letter. Tommy Hardner, distance. Colin Heaton, thrower. Liam Kelly, sprinter. Reese Cordes, sprinter. Braden Lobdell, thrower. Joel Morey, distance. Marquand Moss, thrower. Zach Pondo, jumper. Roman Rizzo, distance. Liam Satterway, thrower. Gabe Urbanic, thrower. Ethan Wade, sprinter. Brody Walker, vaulter. Moving on to the sophomore class, Cole Beeman, thrower. Carter Fox, distance. Alex Green, thrower. Jonathan Howe, distance. Jesse Johnson, distance. Sam Stambro, distance. And Avon Vargas, distance, also receiving a bar. And that rounds out our sophomore class. As a coach, you can kind of hear as I call names, very few letters. It's not until, junior, senior year where these athletes really start to peak. It's difficult because this is a varsity only sport, so a lot of the competition are against those who have, put the time and effort in and matured and gained some more muscle down the way. Junior class, Dorian Bailey, thrower. Lucas Boyd, distance, receiving a bar and a first team all region patch. Cameron Chadsey, distance, receiving a bar and first team all region. The team's favorite member of the track team, Luke Dietrich. Sprinter. Liam Kilgis, distance, receiving a bar. Riley Cordes, distance, receiving a bar and first team all region. Nathan Ryan, distance. That is our junior class. Moving on to the seniors. Jerry Benang, hurdles. Nathan Bartlett, thrower, also receiving a bar. Shane Keith, sprinter, receiving a bar, first team all region, and an all district patch. Cade Lanigan, sprinter, receiving a letter. Ben Leonard, distance, receiving a bar. Dominic Moz, sprinter, receiving a bar, second team all region, and an all district patch. Andrew Nishnik, thrower. Stephen Parmenter, distance. Aiden Reinsel, distance, receiving a bar in the first team all region. Caleb Rizzo, thrower. Braden Thornton, sprinter, receiving a bar in an all district patch. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the Royal Prom King, Kale Turry. We should all rise. Sprinter, receiving a bar. If we Let's give a round of applause for the boys track team. Now, when I call your name, please step forward to earn your District 10 qualifying medal. Braden Thornton. Shane Keith. Dominic Moz. Lucas Boyd. Cameron Chadsey. Riley Cordes. Caden Lanigan. Michael Benang. And Aiden Reinsel. And round of applause for our district qualifiers. Out of all the names listed, as you can see, and hopefully, as Coach Drab pointed out, a lot of our team are the 9th and 10th graders, and you can see the success once you buy into the program and to the belief in the system that your coaches have for you. Majority of these District 10 qualifiers are juniors and seniors, besides Mike, who was part of the 4x1 relay and qualified for district. So with progress comes success. And I would like to just point out our state qualifiers. You can just take a step forward. The boys 4x1 relay team, they were seated 5th at the district meet and took 2nd overall. The team of Braden Thornton, Cade Lanigan, Shane Keith, and Dominic Moss. Round of applause for that team. And as a team, that 4x relay team is 4th all time in school history. So, and it's been 20 years since a 4x1 relay team competed at the state meet. So congratulations, boys. And you may be seated. As the boys sit down, we're going to get situated for our individual awards. We're still on the boys team, so just hang tight.
Yeah. With Nathan DiGilio already being rewarded with the outstanding thrower, there are only 3 awards left. I'm very disappointed in that one of our male athletes is not here tonight. I never knew whether it was appropriate to speak about someone that was not here or if it was appropriate to speak about someone that's here. So I guess I'm going to err on the side of caution and just mention that the most improved male thrower of the year this year was actually Caleb Rizzo. I'm disappointed more so in that he's not here because his most improved award was more about his life. Caleb was headed down a bad path after football, missing school. For goodness sakes, his phys ed grade was down to a 5%, and he's an athlete. So he turned it around in track. He came out, had a great year, scored points for us in the discus, and scored points for us in the shot put. But as I said earlier, his particular award was more about improving his life. So again, I'm disappointed that he's not here. However, we do have 2 people that are here, and I'm very proud to reward these people for their great efforts this year. One of the awards is called the Rookie of the Year. And it's a unique situation. I think Coach Pushkar mentioned this, that we have a lot of 9th graders and a lot of 10th graders. Typically, we don't have very many 9th grade throwers. And this year, I think at times, there were as many as 5 that were at practice. So we're talking about the future of the throwing events. And the throwing events have been very, very, very special over the last 20 years or so. So these guys are the people that we're counting on to continue with that great tradition. The Rookie of the Year this year throws both the shot put and also throws the discus. He finished the year right around 28 feet and finished the year in the shot put, and finished the year right around 90 feet in the boys discus. I think the thing that really helped him, believe it or not, was at the beginning of the year we were having trouble controlling his weight, and that's a difficult thing to do if you're trying to throw in tennis shoes. So at some point in time, his mom came down and took a look at what was going on, and we decided that we could give him a pair of gliding shoes rather than a rotational shoe, and that's when things started to change for him. So congratulations, Colin Heaton, this year's Rookie of the Year. And the last award for the boys throwers. I coach 3 sports, and I always get frustrated with this one because in years past we've always called it the Coaches Award. And then the kids kind of expressed a concern. Well, Coach, it just sounds to me like you're giving a senior an award because you felt sorry for them. And that was never ever true. The Coaches Award was always someone that was special to a coach that they felt represented their program and what they meant, regardless of where they were at in the community. Well, since so many people were disappointed with the Coaches Award, we decided to change, these throwers decided to change the name of the award to the Great Picker Award. And I hope you don't find that that's weird. I think it's a great honor to be the first throwing Great Picker Award winner. One of the things that I like to do in track is, as I walk while we're doing our warm-ups, I'll always look over my shoulder to see who's actually doing what they're supposed to. And many times, there are a lot of kids that aren't doing what they're supposed to. However, this gentleman was always doing what he was supposed to do. He's going to be one of those guys that you're going to want to hire because he's going to stay late, he's going to come early, he's not going to call off sick. He's going to do everything exactly like you tell him to do. He kind of got cheated this year, I thought. He is the 7th best javelin thrower in the district, but our weather was so bad this year that he never met the qualifying standard, so he never had a chance to prove himself at the district meet. We tried to fix that, but of course no one fell upon deaf ears. No one wanted to fix that. At any rate, the first annual Great Picker Award winner goes to Nathan Bartlett, also known as Bad to the Bone.
What? What's so funny?
He thought they were supposed to stay up there.
Coach Greg wants me to remind everybody that you can get pictures afterwards, district qualifiers. We'd like to get all the district qualifiers up here for a picture, and all people who receive a trophy too for a picture. Thanks, Coach. Moving on to the distance events for the boys. We had quite a large team this year for the boys. So in doing so, you tend to have a few more awards when you have about 17 boys working out there every day in the snow, putting in the miles. And Coach Strab is constantly getting phone calls about what the distance runners are doing out there on the roads. Well, this year we didn't have any chicken chasing incidents, but we usually have some type of call that comes into Mr. Dewey about my distance runners doing something on the roads, really just being high school kids and screwing around. But distance running is one of those things that just, why would you do it? When they come in covered in snow and everyone else looks at them like those kids are crazy. And that's exactly right. you have to be somewhat crazy to be a distance runner. Running in and of itself is not fun. Winning is fun though, and that is what we strive to do in the distance program each and every year with a winning tradition. Quite a few awards to give out for some of these youngsters. We're going to start, as the other coaches alluded to, our freshmen. A solid freshman class for the distance crew. We have a freshman 4x8 that every team in the region, none of them can do that. We have a freshman 4x8 that can take on other people's varsity 4x8s. One of the people of that freshman 4x8 is a winner of the Rookie Distance Run of the Year. We actually have 2 winners of the Rookie Distance Run of the Year. This one will be more for the mid-distance runners, and this individual is someone who comes from the soccer realm, who I know will be a very strong mid-distance guy for years to come, and that is Mr. Tommy Hartner. When you coach distance, it's more than just the 800, or then on the other side you have the 2 mile, but in the middle you also have the mile, and that's a mix of something that's both mid-distance and distance runner. And this person really surprised from the beginning. He was here in indoor track running the mile against upperclassmen, and you know what? I actually kind of forgot he was a freshman halfway through the year because he's been around so often, every single day, putting in the hard work. This person has a very bright future as one of the leaders on our team, and that is Mr. Bryson Hammond. What's cool about having these 2 individuals up here is later on I get to talk about their older siblings at the same time. So it's almost like out with one era and in with a new. So it's going to be a fun next 3 years, guys. Moving on, our most improved runner. This is a distance runner who really had what I would say is his first true track season. He had to deal with a lot of injury in the last few years or so, and we put him out there in his first ever track season, running a 2 mile for the first time, really, and putting on those miles on a foot that I still was kind of iffy about on Old Black Death out there, our track. So after he proved that he belonged as one of the top runners in the region when it comes to the 2 mile and really brought down his time, what really made me think of this runner for this award is how he brought down his 800 time for a 4x8 relay, especially at districts. He was almost a hero out there, just putting us right back into the lead. This year's most improved runner, junior Lucas Boyd. Next up is an award that symbolizes pretty much everything I want from my program. It goes to an individual who really is the beating heart of the program in that year. This individual was someone I looked at as the team captain. This is an individual who was at all those winter practices and at the meets at Edinburgh indoors and put a lot of time in, and no matter what the time at the end it was on the scoreboard, this was a leader who I could count on every step of the way, all the way to his senior year. This year's Tradition Award, the award for the traditional runner, the person who symbolizes the program, goes to Mr. Aiden Reitzel. And finally, an award for the most valuable distance runner, MVP distance, someone that gains the most points throughout the season, but as well as someone we put in those pressure-packed situations to try to perform. This runner gave it his all at the district meet, to the point where he couldn't get out of the tent after it was finished. All the way down to the wire on a 4x8 that missed going to states, missed being the District 10 champion by 0.4 seconds. And missed going to states even though they were ranked as the number 6 team in the state. This anchor is someone I'm looking forward to next year for retribution, to come back and let's get this team to states. But this year, our MVP distance runner, Mr. Cameron Chadsey. Thank you, distance runners. You can head to your seats.
Moving on to the sprinters, my first award I'd like to give out is for the Rookie of the Year. And we thrive on, as coaches, getting ninth graders involved or sophomores coming out that we could hopefully groom the next couple of years to be elite, to compete against bigger schools, to push them as far as they can go, not only mentally but physically. It's not very often that you get a senior that comes out for the track program and is doing everything you want him to do, hits the weights when he needs to, meshes with the team, gets along with the team, to not only put points on the team score, but individual points, and to be a part of a 4x1 relay that qualified for the state meet. My Rookie of the Year goes to senior Cade Lanigan. As coaches and parents too, you never want to live with that what if regret. And during our trip to the state meet, Cade not only thanked me as a coach to help him along, but also that he's glad that he came out, he didn't have any regrets. He just wishes that, again, maybe 1 or 2 more years, who knows what could have happened, but greatly appreciate it, Cade, appreciate it. My next award for the MVP sprinter is someone who started in 9th grade, I felt, wanting to leave the practice area the fastest as possible. Meaning practice goes till 5, he wanted to be done about 4:15. And that's not gonna help you in the long run. But as 9th grade comes to 10th and then to 11th and then senior year, the output that he had, not only in preseason, but also during the season, he kept on winning. And when he saw the results, things were cool now and things were jiving, and he was just happy that the success finally paid off. My sprinter of the year goes to Dominic Moss. As far as the most outstanding for the boys, this individual also, not only did he want to leave early, but he said, "Coach, I have a haircut this year," and left practice. Coach wasn't really too happy about that. He ranked 7th all time in the 200. He was the Erie County League champion and also part of the 4x1 relay that was qualified for the state meet. Again, is truly detriment to putting in the effort, really does pay off. The most outstanding boy male track and field athlete is Dominic Moss. All right, gentlemen, thank you. And we're gonna get ready for the ladies.
All right, on to the girls team. As Coach alluded to, we have separate duties as head coaches, and I'm blessed and honored to be the girls head coach, so I get the fun honor of running down through the list and calling you up. We're gonna do it the same way the boys did. We're going to start with our freshmen in alphabetical order, and if you're here, come on up and you'll receive either you receive your certificate, or if you earned a letter or a bar, as well as any medals from the Erie County Classic, you will receive those as well. All right, starting with the 9th grade girls, Ava Alcorn. Ava Alcorn was a hurdler for us coming off of injury and had one great freshman year. She earns herself a varsity letter. Miss Abby Falk, a sprinter for us, earning herself a varsity letter. Just so it is known what earns a varsity letter, this year is different than years past. Typically it dealt with team points, but this year it was changed to performance rating on your individual event or a relay. You had to hit a certain standard in order to earn a varsity letter. Miss Jenna Foster. Jenna receives a second team all-region patch for being a part of a 4x8 that was second team all-region. Gigi Gaston. Gigi earns herself a varsity letter. Gabby Hackett, a thrower for our group. Michaela Hansen, also a thrower. McKinley Hansen, thrower. Lainey Labruzzo, pole vaulter. She earns her varsity letter as well as a first team all-region patch. Allie Lanigan, she was a thrower for our group. Moira Miller, a distance runner. Sadie Myers, I'm sorry, that's wrong one. Reading the wrong list now. Chloe Nagel, a thrower for our group. Isabella Pike, a hurdler. Isabella Smith, also a hurdler. Those are freshman girls, quite a large group. The good coaches. Coach Greg. Oh my Lord. Moving on to the sophomores. Samantha Abate, distance runner. The dreaded 2 mile, which she begged to be out of maybe next year. Tessa Bemis, a thrower, who switched to the discus this year and earns herself a varsity letter. Or bar, I believe, actually, a bar. Avery Blackmer, pole vaulter, who earns herself a varsity letter. Amaria Chandler, thrower. Mila Farnham, thrower. Jeez, coach. Am I out of here? Down to Tupper, Alex Tupper, earning herself a varsity bar. skipped one. Lindsay Reitzel, earning herself a varsity bar as well as second team all-region. Sorry, Lindsay. If I'm not spelling your name incorrectly, I'm skipping you on a list. Moving on to our juniors, Liz Adcock, a thrower, sprinter hybrid. Maybe next year. Gabby Allen, thrower for our group. Good. Jaden Belson, she was a thrower. Lily Beeman, a distance runner. Tasha Myers, thrower who earns her varsity letter. Madison Simonowski, a thrower who earns her varsity letter and a second team all-region patch. And Miss Sheridan Churchett, a hurdler. And to our seniors, Kate Gregg earning her varsity bar. Miss Rachel Gruber earning her varsity bar. Maddie Hammond earning a varsity bar, a second team all-region patch, and an all-district patch. Maddie Hartner earning a varsity bar, as well as a second team all-region patch for both a relay and the open 400. Allie Lutz earning a varsity bar and first team all-region patch for the high jump. Sadie Myers, a thrower for our group. I know she didn't have the year she would have hoped, but nonetheless, she was there every day for us. Brittany Painter earning her varsity letter. And Ellie Siebold earning her varsity bar. I believe I skipped the name. Bella Bostwick, I skipped. Is Bella here? She is not. I give you your girls 2022 Northeast Track and Field team. Of this group, we had 14 girls qualify for districts, each of them receiving a medal. When you hear your name, please girls come on up to Coach Pushkar. Maddie Hammond, Gigi Gaston, Madison Simonowski, Abby Folk, Tessa Bemis, Ellie Siebold, Allie Lutz, Kate Gregg, Tasha Myers, Lainey Labruzzo, Alex Tupper, Avery Blackburn, Lindsay Reitzel, and your name is spelled right on that one, unlike last year, and Maddie Hartman. It's official, the girls had more district qualifiers than the boys. Good job, girls. Of the group that qualified for districts, we did have one individual move on to the state meet, and she received her all-district patch for being second in the district in the 800. And her time, her PR this year of 2:22 ranks her 11th all-time in school history, and what I would believe is one of the most competitive events in our school's history, the girls 800. There are a lot of D1 athletes on that board that she is now intermixed with. Please join me in congratulating Miss Maddie Hammond. Thank you, girls. You may take your seat as a team, and we'll call up individuals for your awards.
Before I move on with the individual female throwing awards, I want to take just a second, and I know I did this at senior night for the throwers, but I'm not sure that everybody in attendance understands exactly what this young lady went through this year. Mercedes Myers injured her labrum on her right arm last year, her right shoulder. And she's a shot putter, of course. The shot put weighs almost 9 pounds. She actually tore her labrum during the track season last year and still was a District 10 champion and still was a state qualifier. Unfortunately, she couldn't have her labrum repaired until February of this year, which of course it's a 9-month healing process, which did not allow her one opportunity to throw this year. I know she was practicing left-handed. I witnessed it myself. That's my bad. I should not have witnessed that. But she asked me one time just to throw. Well, she asked more than one time, left-handed. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. But I almost caved. I almost caved and let her have that one opportunity. I guess I'm telling you this story so that you guys, especially the athletes, can understand how important something is to you once it's removed from your life and what that does. What does that do? What does that do to you and what you do next? I'm very proud of her. She's going to go to Allegheny. She's going to continue throwing there. She's not allowed to throw until September, but I look forward to September. We can get back out there and toss the shot put around a little bit. So Mercedes, would you please stand for just a second, please? Mercedes. At the beginning of every year, the teachers and the administrators all get together and they take a look at what does this senior class look like? What is going to be the attitude? What's going to be the nature of the behavior of our school? And I have to say that before I go any further, that this particular senior group, both male and female, are extremely special to me. They have set the tone for this school, in my opinion. They're wonderful human beings. You can't ask for a better quality of student athlete than what you have sitting together in this auditorium tonight. With that in mind, let's move forward with the girls' throwing awards. I'm not sure if this is her first non-dancing, non-academic award, but what a treat. Chloe Nagel is always going to have a special place in my heart. She wrote a very nice essay for me that allowed me to be the Teacher of the Year 2 years ago. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget her. I'm so glad that she came out this year to throw the discus and the javelin. She actually went from 0 to 68 feet in the javelin, if you will. And then on the last meet of the year of the discus, she went all the way out to 76 feet. So we're counting. I hope we've got her roped in, and I hope to see her for the next 3 years. Rookie of the Year is Chloe Nagel. Again, I'm going to err on the side of caution. Tessa Bemis was a young lady who injured the tendon in her elbow wrestling against 18-year-old boys. I get it. I certainly understand Title IX, but I wish girls would wrestle girls and boys could wrestle boys. And unfortunately, she was not allowed to throw the javelin, which was her best event. But she did decide, I think that she knows a family member who's also a doctor. They cleared her to throw the discus because it's a different throwing motion. And with that being said, she's not here tonight, but she would have been our most improved thrower for the year. That would have been Tessa Bemis. Okay? Back to the Grape Picker Award. The reason that I mentioned the seniors is because, I don't know, I think there's just something about this particular group that cares out loud. And if you can understand what I'm trying to say about them. And again, I talked about not wanting to be the coaches award. I'm disappointed in that again, but I can remember sitting in the stands at the district meet. Now you have to understand, the throwers never get an opportunity to watch any races because we are so far away from the track that by the time our events are over, we don't have an opportunity to watch anything on the track. But at the district meet, we were finished a little bit early, and I was sitting in the stands with my wife, and I looked over, and to my right was Kate Gregg, and to my left was Rachel Gruber. And as I said, they were cheering out loud. Now I know that perhaps Kate has a vested interest, but I know that Rachel is just one of those people that cares about her teammates, her classmates, her school, and the same can be said for Kate. Kate stayed and helped me with a junior high meet. There's just so much goodness about these kids that would be unfair to not recognize them tonight. So we have 2 Grape Picker Awards for the girls. We have Rachel Gruber and also Kate Gregg. The last award is our most valuable thrower. And we spoke senior night about how I had this young lady in 6th grade math, and I just loved to have her in my classroom. She was a pistol, but I enjoyed every single second of her that I had in class. And then when she got to 9th grade, she came out for track, which was kind of an extra bonus for me in that I just enjoyed being around her. But I watched her suffer through a torn ACL in basketball 2 years ago. And I watched her get through all of that, all that isolated training. I watched her also in golf become a wonderful contributor to a state championship team. And then I also was concerned about how we were going to finish this year. What was it going to be like for you heading into your last month of your senior year? So we talked a little bit about that, and wouldn't you know that on her last throw of her life, she had a throw that earned her the 5th place medal at the District 10 discus meet. She was also the McDowell Invitational champion. She was the Northeast Invitational champion. She's ranked 14th in the history of our school. Our most valuable thrower is Elise Siebold.
I just have one award to give out. When it comes to the boys were very, I would say they knew what they wanted to do, and we didn't have too much crossover. With the girls team, there is a lot of crossover from sprints to jumps to hurdles to even mid-distance. So a lot of what I'm looking for as far as characteristics in an MVP could also be a part of a different type of field being long triple high jump. This award winner could also be the Rookie of the Year as well. Earned a lot of points, put the time into the winter workouts, part of the 4x1, part of the 16 relay at times. Scored a lot of points for the female team. The MVP for the female sprinters is Abby Falk.
Finally, let me speak. They've been hiding me back over here. No, anyways, real quick, Sheridan, Isabel Smith, come on up real quick, upstairs. Come on, hustle. I gotta help out these rookie coaches, you know what I mean? Okay? So it's okay, it's just typo stuff, girls. Nobody was neglecting you. Both Isabel earns a letter as a freshman, and Sheridan also earns a bar. Give them applause. Okay, that's really great. Okay, I cannot not tell a story. So, anyways, real quick, this is mostly for freshmen, okay? Probably sophomores also, because we have a whole bunch of freshmen. So I have to tell you, Coach Strapp, when he was a freshman, see, I can remember this because I was around, see, Coach. And Coach Strapp, guys, when he was a freshman, oh my gosh. Half mile, it was like years before he got around to the second lap. I'm not kidding you, it was forever. Okay? But by the time he's a senior, we're down to states, okay? So there you go, that's one story. But freshmen need to understand it. Freshmen need to understand this though. I had a high jumper, Alex Schreefer. She came out, she was absolutely terrible in the high jump, okay? As a senior, she ended up going 5.2 second in the state meet. There you go. You see what I mean? So freshmen, sophomores, don't think that you cannot do something. I had a pole vaulter named Chris Schaefer who is going to be inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame this year. He was a state champion. But as a freshman, he was the biggest pain in the butt. And he was terrible, and he would want to vault and vault and vault. And I said, Chris, stop. I'm being serious, you know what I mean? But he eventually grew, got stronger, worked hard. When he was a junior, his dad took him all over the state to pole vault. I'm not kidding you, you know? What's he do? Senior year, he's state champion. Okay? There's not one more story. Alex Beardsley, okay? Greg Beardsley, principal, his son. I was coaching cross country in junior high at that time. Alex didn't even want to run. You know, Daddy naturally wants him to run, okay? Alex didn't even want to run. Well, then he got interested, but then he ran, and oh, he was not good. Okay, I'm not kidding you. He was just not very good. And then started to come around when he was a junior, and then what was he? State champ in the 2 mile. So there's stories, just to let you know, freshmen and sophomores, you can do more than you think you can do. Okay, I'm done. Those are good stories. You know, I didn't, you know. Okay, so this is for hurdler. By the way, I had, between hurdlers and jumpers, I had 16 kids I coached. 10 of those 16 are freshmen. So that just shows you that, you know, that's the group. Anyways, this one goes for most improved hurdler. This girl just worked hard, wanted to run this race just more than anything. Worked hard at it, and qualified for district. Our most improved hurdler goes to Gigi Gaston.
Yeah, Gigi.
Okay, this next award, this goes to a jumper here, And this girl ended up, I don't remember now, 5th or 6th. I don't remember, I gotta look, I'm sorry. I got it right here. All time. This girl ended up 6th all time, okay? So the list for the top tier in each event, by the way, that's on the touch screen outside here. But anyways, so she's 6th all time, medaled in the District 10 meet, just did an outstanding job as her first year as a sophomore in the pole vault. We're going 8-6 to be 6th all time. Avery Blackmore. Rookie of the year. Now, also vaulting with her is Lainey Labruzzo, who is not here tonight, but she's 5th all time at 9 feet, and so I mean, which is pretty good. And she was also a District 10 medalist. So the two of them, both of them, actually get Rookie of the Year. Okay, and Avery will let Lainey get this. All right, and then. My last award here is an MVP jumper, okay? And this girl was Northeast Invitational Champion, Erie County Classic Champion, and also first team all-region, which means she was the best in the region at this time of the year. At the end of the year, she didn't think as well as she'd like to, but you know something? This girl worked hard. She did a great job. You can't be more proud of her. So our MVP jumper is Allie Lutz. Okay, here comes Coach Stroud. No stories about me.
Just for the record, Coach Greg, I had a district medal my freshman year. Just saying. When you coached me, how could you forget? For our distance trophies, we have 3. 2 for the distance squad and 1 for the entire track team. The first being their tradition award. Like I said with the boys, this award necessarily doesn't go to someone who has the fastest time on the team, or is even a district qualifier, or in this year's case, even someone who's a varsity letter winner. This is someone who, no matter what, symbolizes the program by the work they put in. This individual grew so much over the last few years that I am just beyond excited to see this individual come back for her final year. This year's Tradition Award for the Northeast Track and Field Girls Distance Squad goes to Lily Beeman. We didn't have the largest distance squad like we did for the boys, but we had great leadership across the board on this year's distance squad from our junior and seniors, who, I mean, if I could give an award for every single person with all the hard work they did, I would. But this year, we're looking at our team captains across the board for their great leadership. This next award goes to the most valuable distance runner. 6 years ago, I was introduced to this somewhat tall 7th grader who was a basketball player, who came out and decided to try cross country try it on for size. It was a natural talent, a natural match. Watching her compete with the talent she had and then go through injuries over the course of her career and grow and become the leader she became for this team has been one of the coolest things I have witnessed as a young coach. And I hope to see this in the future with all the young women who come through this program. You don't necessarily have to have the fastest time to be the most valuable distance runner. This person led by example no matter what, and every time she had a baton in her hand, I was just the most confident coach in the arena, especially watching her run a 4x4. Just a powerful stride that she worked on all the time of her life, and just seeing the change that she had through her years from freshman to senior. Such a cool thing to witness. I'm so proud of her, and she gets to go move on into college and compete down there with the Crimson Hawks of IUP, our most valuable distance runner, Miss Maddie Hart. Thank you for all you've done. And last but certainly not least is our most outstanding track and field athlete. This year goes to a distance runner who was our state qualifier, who, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year, was going to be ranked the 15th best half miler in the state of Pennsylvania, I would have wondered if we were getting a transfer at first. But she blew us away with her improvement this year, dropping close to about 14 seconds or 13 seconds off of her PR from one year to the next. That kind of drop doesn't happen in a half mile. A half mile, 2 seconds is a huge drop from year to year, not 13. She dropped all the way down to 2:22 coming off of a 2:30 some season last year to rank as the number 11th best half miler in our school's history. Maddie, it's been a pleasure watching you grow for your 4 years here, both in cross country and in track and field. And that says something for someone who didn't run as a junior high athlete and decided to give this a try because of a good 8th grade Olympic day. Maybe we should bring back Olympic day. We find some all-state and all-district runners in doing so. Our most outstanding athlete for the girls, senior Maddie Hammond. Coach Greg has another story, apparently. I'm going to turn it over to him.
No, I don't have a story. I just wanted to remind people. The touchscreen that's out here, the touchscreen was actually put there by the Northeast Sports Hall of Fame. And it does have that material in there, but there's also the track and field and cross country. There's records. There's actually records for every sport. A couple sports we're still working on, but there's records for all the sports, okay? And anyways, so if you want to access that, you can access it with an app. Now, there's 2 apps. One's for Android and one's for iPhone. The iPhone app is already there. You just find it under Northeast High School. The Android app is a week away, so that'll be under Google. But it'll probably still be under Northeast High School. And if you can get it on your phone, and then that way you can access that information. If you want to access that board and see that on your computer, is nesd.touchpros.com. And you can ask me that later if you want to. But if you put that in your computer, then you can also access it. And it's very interesting to see all the, it has the top tier of all that. And we had, I think we had 7 people on the track team this year that got on that list. So just to let you know, I mean, you can access it when we go out there also and take a look at it. Okay, thank you.
For those of you who received district medals for being a district qualifier or a trophy, we'd like you to stick around. We're actually going to bring out the little grape picker board, and you can take pictures in front of that up here and move around. But that will conclude our ceremonies. We thank you all for making it out here on this hot evening. We made it. We did it pretty quick too, actually, for 88 kids. So thank you. Great season.